Hello guys, in this tutorial we will be discussing about a most widely used library called as Lodash. Lodash is actually a library which actually works in both Node.js and you can also use it in the browser as well. We will look at example on how to use Lodash library. What is Lodash? So if you just search on Google Lodash, it is actually a JavaScript utility library which is developed especially for programmers. If you are working with arrays, if you are working with any sort of data structure inside programming, it can be arrays, it can be numbers, it can be strings. So with the help of Lodash library, your time will be saved and you no longer need to use complex loops for daily tasks. So it has a pre-built methods available. If you go to their documentation, for each every method there is a certain example given. So we will be looking at some of the methods in this video. So now to get started using Lodash, you can just either you can include the CDN of Lodash by including the CDN right here. If you want to work it in the browser, you can even install it as a Node.js dependency. So just search for Lodash and you can also see it's a widely used package. Almost 50 million downloads are there. So I think it's a number one module which is used by every developer somewhere inside the application. So it's a widely used module. So now we will be looking at a simple example. I will show you. This is actually a simple script.js file. We are using it. Let me show you. If you want to include this right in the browser itself, you just need to paste the CDN of it. So you can paste the CDN and now you can work inside your app browser, or you can use it in Node.js environment as well. The command is really simple, as I already told you, npm I lodash. This will install it as a Node.js package. And now to get started, I will actually show you. I would declare an array here which will be numbers. So let's suppose this is a numeric array 25, 67, 89, and again I have 25. So these are actually an array I have declared which has 5 values, all numerics. And now I need to perform some operations on this array. So you can see Lodash library actually contains some methods which are very useful. So let me show you the first method. If you want to split this array into multiple pieces, so without using Lodash, you will be using complex for loops for actually iterating through each value. But using Lodash, it actually has a built-in method. So we can access Lodash inside this script by using underscore. So it is this library who created Lodash is inspired by underscore.js, also a very good library for working with arrays. So we access Lodash using underscore, and then it has a various methods, which is one such method is chunk. So what this method does, actually it takes the array. So in this case, we will pass this array right here as the first argument, and the second argument is actually it takes in how many pieces you want to actually split this array. I want to split it into 2 pieces. So what it does, guys, you will see the output right here. So 25, 65, so 2 pieces, and then 89, 25, another 2 pieces. So it has split the array. It contains 5 elements, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It has basically, I provided this value to be 2. So now it has splitted this into 2 parts, 25, 65, 89, 25, and now it only contains the last element, so age 78. I can change this to, let's suppose, 3 elements, or now it will actually create a subset which contains 3 elements per array. So you can see that. So in this way, you can split your long array into smaller subsets by actually using this chunk method. And here you can provide any sort of subset you can provide. The second method is actually the difference. If you want to calculate the difference between any two arrays, we have this difference method underscore dot difference, and right here you will actually provide the array which needs to be processed as the first argument, and then the second argument will be the actual second array that needs to be differentiated. So let's suppose if I provide a value such as 25, and 50. So what will be the output? So just see what is the output. So you will see that the output is shown right here: 25, 67, 89, 25, 78. So this is actually the difference method. For this we can actually have a string array which contains some country names. Let's suppose New Zealand, Australia, and we have India, and then South Africa. So now we have this teams array. I can pass this as a first argument, and then I provide the second argument to be a string. Let's suppose I provide a different value which is not present inside. I provide England as the first. So what it will does, it will actually return the full array because England is not present inside this teams array. But if I provide here, let's suppose New Zealand and Australia, which is already present in the input array. So what will be the output? Just see, India and South Africa, because New Zealand and Australia are already present in this teams array. So now they will be subtracted or they will be removed from the original array. And now this is actually the difference it calculated, India and South Africa. Same goes with the number array as well. If you also take the same example with numeric array as well, let's suppose I replace it here with nums, and now I provide here a value which is already present, which is 25. So now if you see, this 25 entry will be removed. I think you need to 25. Okay, this difference method, guys, only works with the string array. It doesn't work with the number array, because in string array we need to actually compare the strings which are already present inside this array. So we actually remove this. So you can see that these two country names are already present, so the output is India and South Africa. So you will see that the next method comes is the intersection union. You have studied in maths. So intersection already basically returns the common elements. So intersection, we provide the teams array. Similarly, we are providing this teams array, and then we provide the array that needs to be processed. So let's suppose I provide again New Zealand and Australia as my input. So what it will does, it will calculate the intersection between this teams array, and this is actually the array that we provided. So you can see New Zealand and Australia are present in both the arrays. So this will actually be the output, New Zealand and Australia. This is actually calculated the intersection, or both the teams are present in both the arrays. So that's why it returned to it. Similarly, we also have the union method as well. Union. So union, as you all know, it actually combines or concatenates all the values. So let's suppose I provide here England. Like, what will be the output? New Zealand, Australia, India, South Africa, and England, because it will combine or concatenate both the entries of both the arrays into a single array. So now it contains this output array which contains all these entries because it calculated the union. But if I provide also here New Zealand, you will see that now the output will not contain duplicate entries. New Zealand will only be contained once, because it doesn't repeat, because it is already present in the original array. So this is actually meant by union. It does concatenate, but it doesn't duplicate entries. So this was the union method. Then we also have some methods for actually filtering out or searching as well. One such method is, let's suppose if you want to get the head value. So what it will do, it will return the first value in the array. So head represents, it will actually return the 0th value on the array. It will return the first element. So head is meant by that. And similarly, we have also the tail method as well. Tail method actually removes the first element from the array and returns the output array. Now you can see New Zealand is removed because it was the first element in the array. Rest of the array is returned to us as the output. So if you want to remove the first element from the array, this is really useful guys. In Lodash you have pre-built methods available. You don't need to actually run these complex for loops. You can actually make use of this tail method and actually remove the first element from the array. So it's really simple, and you can just see the power of all these methods. And then we also have the join method as well. Join method is similar to union, but there is a slight difference. If you see the join method, what it does, it actually joins all these elements which are present in this array with this string. So now the output, if you want to see this output, let me show you in the browser because it will not show it right inside this. So if I open this and show you in the console, it will look something like this. So kn will be inserted in all the array values. So it will look something like this: New Zealand kn, Australia kn, India kn, South Africa. So you will see kn will be inserted in all the entries which is present in this array, and it will actually concatenate a simple string. So if you want to concatenate everything which is available inside this array into a single string, then we will use the join method. And now if you want to remove something from the array, we also have a drop method as well, which actually takes the nums array. Let me take a numeric array, and if I want to remove the first element, sorry, we need to in this. So it actually takes the nums array. So what it will does, it will remove the first element from the array. You will see 25 will be removed. So because we have actually passed this one entry, so one simply means that remove the first element of the array. So similarly we can pass 2 here. It will actually remove all the elements starting from 1 and 2. You can see that the power of this method. So it actually removed the first 2 elements. If you want to remove the first 3 elements, it will be returning 25, 78. So it has removed 25, 67, 89. It has removed the first 3 elements from the array and it has returned it. So this is actually the drop method. And then we also have the finding method. If you want to search something from this array, we also have this find index method, and here you pass your actual array. As first argument we are passing the teams array, and then we have this function which you can run in the second argument. And right here you can have any sort of condition that you want to put. You can say return the team which is equal to New Zealand. So here we put a condition guys. So what will be the output if you see? So it is saying that it is returning the index of the team. It is returning the index 0 here. If you see, this is actually the output will be returned because New Zealand is present at the 0th index. So it is the first element in the array. So that's why it is returning 0. Let's suppose if I replace it with Australia. So now I am just interested to find out the team which is starting from Australia. So now it is the second element in the array. So it is returning the index 1 right here. So in this way, this is actually the find index method. It actually returns the index number of the actual element which is present in the array. So we can actually have South Africa as well right here. Now the index number will be 3. You can see that. So 3 will be returned. So this is actually the finding method which is present in Lodash, which actually makes it very much easy to actually find elements in the array without having to actually make use of for loops and all. And then similarly, we also have a method to actually clone a original array. So let's suppose if you want to make a copy of your original array, let's suppose if you want to create a copy of this array, there is a clone method available. So you just need to write here underscore dot clone, and then you provide the teams array. It will actually create this clone array. It will create a copy of this teams array and store it. You can store it in a variable as well. So now it has actually created a clone similarly. So this is actually a clone method. And also we also have another method called as pull. So pull method guys actually removes the element, removes multiple elements. So if you want to remove multiple elements from an array, let's suppose I want to remove from the teams array. So here you can provide multiple elements. If you want to remove New Zealand and also Australia at the same time, you can provide as many arguments as you want. So now it will actually create a new array, and now New Zealand and Australia will be removed from the array. Now the output, you can see India and South Africa. So this is actually the output, India and South Africa. So the thing about pull method, guys, it actually mutates the original array. It actually modifies the original array. So if you want to access now the teams array, it will look something like this, India and South Africa. So it actually modifies the original array. So if you don't want to modify the original array, if you just want to create a copy of this without having to modify the original array, there is a second method which does the same thing, but it actually doesn't modify the array. That method is, I think, is without. So now you can actually say without. It does the same thing. You can see India and South Africa will be returned, New Zealand, Australia will be removed. But now if you access the teams array, the original array is not modified. It actually created a new array which contains uh, doesn't contain New Zealand and Australia. But if you do use this method called as pull, but it will modify the original array. So this is actually the difference between pull and without. So I showed you both the methods. So depending upon which one you want to use, you can use it. And then we also have some more methods which actually want to, if you want to count something, so there is also a count method as well, count by. So this method actually takes the array and it actually tells you how many times a certain element is repeated. So you can see it actually tells us inside this numeric array 25 is repeated twice, 67 is repeated once, say 78 1, 89 1. So it exactly tells you how many times a certain element is repeated in this array. So if I enter, let's suppose 78 twice, so it will also say 78 is also repeated twice. So this is actually meant by count by. It actually tells you how many times a certain element is repeated. And similarly, we also have a for each method as well in Lodash. If you want to uh, loop through, yeah, elements, there is this callback function. You can do this and you can console log num. It will print out all the elements which are present: 25, 67, 89, 25, 78, 78. This is very simple for each loop, also available in Lodash. If you want to iterate through all the elements of a particular array, you can use a for each loop as well. And then guys, I will show you a more complex example. Let's suppose if you have a array of objects. Each object contains two properties, the name property and let's suppose a age property as well, and a country. So this is a one object. I can repeat this. So I can change the name here. Age 35. Can say here 40. Say here USA, and then I can say here Jim. This one is 20, and I can say here UK. So we have an array of objects and users object. Now if you want to apply some methods which is present, very handy methods, one such method is order by. Order by, guys, what it does, it actually takes the array, for example, as a first argument. You provide the users array and then you can provide some properties which are available in this object. You can access the name property, age, country. So any property we can access. Let's suppose I want the results to be ordered by name property, and then we need to access it in a descending order. So we'll say descending order. So if you want to run this, you need to run it in the browser. So what I will do, I will simply show it in the script file. So what it will does, it will, if you show it, so it actually returns the alphabets in a descending order. You can see K, J, J, K. So because K is greater than J, that's why it is, the names have been sorted in a descending way. Kane is getting first, and then John, then Jim, then Elias. So you can do it for anyone. You can also order it by age as well. So whichever user has basically has a greater age will come first. So age 40, then age 35, 27, 20. So you can see all these sorting methods are already built in Lodash. If you want to sort this using a descending order, ascending order as well, you can even have a ascending order as well. So now the ages will come in a ascending order. So 20, 27, 35, 40. So if you want to sort elements, sort persons with different ages, different names, so here you can do this using this sort order by method. So this is all Lodash methods, guys. One such method also exists, which is every method. So in every method you actually pass the users object, and then we have the callback function. So here we only need to access the users whose age is greater than 30. So what it will does, it will actually return all the users whose age is greater than 30. So in this case, if you see the John has age 35, that is why it will be returned, and Kane has 40 age. So I can now show you in this example. So now if you see console log for every user, we need to say here user age 30. It is actually returning false here as an output. But if I show you in the browser, so it returns a Boolean value, guys, for every. So if the actual condition evaluates to true, then it returns true. But here in this array, all the ages are not greater than 30. Some ages are also smaller than 30. So if I make all the ages greater than 30, you will see this condition will evaluate to true. Let's suppose if here also, if I make this to 40 and this to 40 as well, now this returns true here because all the elements are actually getting this condition to be true. So all the persons are greater than 30 age. That's why this condition evaluates to true. Now this is returning true. So this is actually a very handy method. You can use every method. You can apply this on a variety of objects, arrays, and you can check for a certain property that if it evaluates to true or not. And similarly, we have a filter method as well, which actually filter out a certain user. So let's suppose if you want to filter user based upon any condition, we have the filter method. We pass the users as the first argument, and this actually will be a callback function. And here we only need to return the users which actually matches some kind of criteria. That is, the age is greater than if age is greater than 30. So let's suppose if I say 20 here, make it 20, and also make it 20 as well. So now only two users are there whose age is greater than 30. If I now need to console log the filtered users dot length, now it comes out to be 2 because there are only two users whose age is greater than 30. If I want to print this, you will see John and Kane, so whose age is greater than 30. So in this way, guys, you can apply these very easily without having to use any sort of logic. That's why Lodash is used widely in Node.js and JavaScript, because it eliminates the very usage of actually having pre-built methods are there, and you don't need to write logic on your own. So these methods makes it very easy to actually handle uh, arrays. So these are some of the methods, guys. You can read the documentation. It actually contains a lot of methods. You can see the for each method there is a certain example given to you. So the documentation is really easy to understand. So please hit that like button, guys. Subscribe the channel as well for more videos like this, and I will be seeing you guys in the next one.